Boom. So a lot of us, we start off the year, we're in a whole hot frenzy. We're getting new goals set up. We're making all these new resolutions. But at the end of the day, why is it that we make all these resolutions, we make all these goals, and a lot of times none of those things ever get accomplished? And I know I've been guilty of this New Year's chaos, but I realized that a lot of times it doesn't work. So this year I decided to take a different approach and reflect on what really worked for me to get results in the past. And this one shift that I want to talk to you about, it resulted in me being able to triple my income as a real estate agent. I paid off almost $98,000 worth of debt because of this. And it allowed my wife for her to be able to pursue her music career full time. And all of this happened in a matter of 18 months when I shifted to this type of thinking. So let's dive in. So before I jump into the content, I want to personally invite you to a free community that we have. Listen, if you're a man out there and you feel stuck, you feel frustrated, and you're just looking for a community, looking for a place where you can find a simple path to live your purpose, to living in your power, and to living in your God-given position as a man, then this is the community for you. Recreated Man, it's a brand new community. We do monthly meetups, live check-ins, do some Q&As, some monthly challenges, a lot of good things in there to help you as a man to, like I said, live your purpose. So I'm going to drop a link down below. That's a free community that we just started, just kicking off this year to help you if you're a man and you're looking to grow. I'll leave that link down below. Like I mentioned, most of us, we have these New Year's resolutions. We have all these goals. We have everything that we want to accomplish and we want to set up. And a lot of times we don't get it done. Like, it doesn't happen. We set all these goals. I've been there before. I was like the goal master here. And what I realized is I made all these goals, but a lot of times I wasn't accomplishing them. Not saying that we shouldn't set goals, not saying that we shouldn't have these things that we're trying to strive for, but a lot of the time, when you think about when we set goals, most of the time as we're pursuing that goal, we're in failure mode, right? We're failing at that moment because we haven't hit our goals. And then the second part of it is if we do hit our goals, part of the problem is that we just hit this wall and it's like, okay, well, what's next, right? So I've been in both situations, and this approach to getting things accomplished in life completely changed my life. And I'll tell you how the story started. Back in 2018, I was in real estate full time, and my wife, she came to me. She was working as a high school teacher, and she came to me and she said, you know what? I've been doing music a really long time. She's been working on all these different songs. She had, hundreds of songs that she already had written. And she came to me with this burning desire to say and said that she wouldn't feel right leaving this earth if people weren't able to hear the music that she had been creating. And I completely agreed with her. I said, you know what? That makes complete sense. I've been there before, having ideas, having different thoughts, and feeling like I need to get these thoughts out in the world. And so she came to me. She said, I want to pursue music full time. I said, hey, bet, let's do it. Let's come up with a plan. Let's make it happen. And let's put this thing into action. So part of our plan for us to be able to do that was I wanted to make sure that we'd be able to live off of one income if we needed to. And if she was going to be stepping down from teaching, that meant that I would have to be providing all of the income in our household, which is cool. I'm down with that. Let's do it. At the time, we had close to about $98,000 in debt that we were looking at. And my first goal was, hey, we got to pay this debt off. And if we pay this debt off, that'll put our expenses in a comfortable space where we'll be able to function off of one income and make this thing happen for you. I was in real estate at that time, and part of my job in real estate was to reach out to potential clients, reach out to potential prospects, people that may have they were trying to sell their home, but they weren't able to get it sold. I was the guy that was on the phone making a lot of those calls and really trying to reach out to these people to get them locked in. And so around that time, it was a struggle, right? Because now in my head, I have these goals. I'm like, okay, we got to pay this debt off. We got to get this all taken care of. And at the same time, I've got to figure out a way that I can generate enough income to be able to take care of our expenses and pay this $98,000 worth of debt. On the phone every day. But my problem is that I was not consistent with being on the phone and being aggressive or being consistent in reaching out to potential clients, I ran across this book written by Stephen Guise, and I'm going to put that link down below. And the book and the premise of that book was adopting a system of mini habits that you will do every single day, no matter what. Part of his premise in this book is to really just adopt a very super simple habit, something super simple. In the book, he uses the example of losing weight and working out on a regular basis. And for him, his simple habit was doing 1 push-up a day. It was so simple and so stupid that he had to do it, and there was no real reason or excuse that he could get away with if he didn't do it for that day. And so that was the whole idea of this book, is that everything revolved around these mini habits. So I took that book, I took the lessons, and what I did was I developed one habit, just one mini, super simple, super stupid habit that I could apply to my day-to-day process when it came to prospecting. And so that one simple habit that I chose was that I had to at least make 1 phone call a day. 1 phone call a day. It didn't matter what was going on. It didn't matter if I was working that day. I just had to simply make 1 phone call. If the person answered, that was great. If the person didn't answer, that was great too. My whole goal was just to make 1 phone call. 1 phone call. That was it. If I made 1 phone call and I felt like the rest of my day, I didn't want to work for the rest of the day, I would take the day off. If I made 1 phone call and I got on the phone and it was a bad conversation with somebody like a potential lead or a client, I would just say, hey, I'm taking the rest of the day off. But what happened was that as I started this mini habit, over time, consistency started to build, because I would get on the phone and make 1 call sometimes and be done. But there were a good amount of days where I would actually get on the phone and actually do more than 1 call. Man, it would go to 18 calls, 20 calls, sometimes 50 calls, sometimes long stretches, until it got to the point where I had built up such a strong habit of prospecting every single day that I was getting on the phone and staying on the phone anywhere between 2 to 3 hours at a time, calling, reaching out to new clients. And so here's what was beautiful about this, is that it took away the pressure of me having to achieve this big, huge, lofty goal when all I simply had to do was just get on the phone and just make 1 simple call. I just had to make 1 simple call. And if I could make that 1 simple call, that was a win in my book. And so the mindset shift that this made for me was huge, because now, instead of me being in a place or feeling like I'm in a place of failure consistently because I haven't hit this goal yet, I'm shifting from a place of winning. I'm making these wins every single day. I'm getting on the phone every single day. I'm just picking up that phone, I'm dialing, and it's a win. And I'm winning along this. And as you begin to win in life, it builds up confidence. That's why it's so important to have those wins every single day. You know, we always hear, I've seen videos on this before. I think it was a SEAL, and he was talking about the importance of making your bed in the morning as someone in the military, is because it's a win for you, right? It's a quick win. It's something you can do. It can build your confidence to really push you into the rest of your day. And so this was the key that I used and that I shifted to, that completely revolutionized how my business was going at the time. Like I mentioned, doing this 1 mini habit, I was able to triple my income within 18 months. I was tripling my income, more clients, more appointments, more things that I could really even wrap my mind around, and things were just happening so fast. And what was interesting is that with that just being my one focus, that's the only thing that I was locked in on, was just that 1 call. That one call, it helped me to triple my income. Me and my wife, during that time period, we were able to pay off that $98,000 worth of debt, except for our mortgage. At the same time, it was able for me to I was able to have my wife be able to step away from work, to resign from that, and to really pursue her dream full time. And it all started with 1 call. There's a scripture that I love in the Bible, and this is kind of what I feel wraps this all around in a nutshell. It's Zechariah 4, verse 10. It says this: "Do not despise small beginnings, for the Lord rejoices to see the work begin, to see the plumb line in Zerubbabel's hand." Look, God is saying, hey, don't despise these little small habits. This is a game changer. A lot of times we want the big thing, but it's really those tiny, consistent, daily habits that we can implement in our lives that can make the biggest, the most monumental change. And so, for you, what is it that you're trying to accomplish? What's that big goal that you might have set in 2023 or whenever you're watching this? What's that big goal that you may have set? And then reverse engineer that, move that, and just kind of go backwards from that and figure out what's the smallest, tiniest, almost stupidest thing that I can do every single day, that if I do it, it's going to get me towards this goal and make that a habit. I created a micro habit tracker, and I'll link that down below. You can download that for free. It's just something I use that kind of helps. I'll put some gold stars on it. I'll take a picture and show you kind of what that looks like. But in that, all I do is put up gold stars every single day. Every time I make my mini habit, every time I do what I'm supposed to do, I put that star up, and it helps me to keep in track, and it helps me to keep on pace. Don't always think that you have to go for the big thing. The thing that we have to remember is consistently working on the tiny habits every day that are just, they're so small not to do, but in the end, they'll give you the big results, and that'll leave you feeling fulfilled and satisfied. That's what we're after this year. Focus on the system, focus on those tiny little habits, make it a great one, make some impact, make some change, and as always, keep learning, keep healing, and keep growing. Peace.